Beans cost 80 cents per pound. How much money would 2 3/4 pounds of beans cost? This problem involves a rate. A rate indicates a relationship between two different kinds of units. The word per is often used to express a rate. I can see the word per right here in our problem. When a rate is expressed using the word per, there are always units in front of the per. That's cents here, represented by the cent sign. There are also units behind the per. That's pounds in this problem. The rate in this word problem is 80 cents per pound. Before we solve this word problem, let's talk a little bit about what this rate means. 80 cents per pound means 80 cents for 1 pound. Let's draw some pictures to illustrate exactly what this means. If I were to buy just 1 pound of beans, so here's 1 pound. That pound costs 80 cents. If I were to buy a 2nd pound of beans, so here's another pound, this pound costs another 80 cents. And if I were to buy a 3rd pound of beans, this pound would cost still another 80 cents. So if we bought 1 pound of beans, that costs 80 cents. 80 cents for this pound. I'd like to describe that in the following way. If we take our rate, 80 cents per pound, times 1 pound, $80 times 1 is 80 cents of cost. Now, if we were to buy 2 pounds of beans, each pound is 80 cents. 80 and 80 is 160 cents. Let's represent that idea using the rate. If we take 80 cents per pound times 2 pounds, $80 times 2 equals 160. That's 160 cents that we would pay for those 2 pounds of beans. And if we bought a total of 3 pounds of beans, here's 1, 2, 3 pounds of beans altogether, that's 80 plus 80 plus 80, that's 80 times 3, or 240 cents. Let's represent that using the rate. 80 cents per pound times 3 pounds is going to equal, again, 80 times 3 is 240 cents. Now, what I'd like to do here is look at what's going on with the units. Not the numbers so much, it's just the words that represent the units. We're taking cents per pound and we're multiplying by how many pounds we're buying. And we're obtaining a value that represents how many cents those beans cost. I call this equation the unit equation for this rate. Cents per pound times pounds equals cents. If we take a rate like cents per pound, and if we multiply by the units represented by the word after the per, that's pounds here, we obtain an answer whose units are given by the word in front of the per. We're going to use this unit equation to help us solve our problem. Let's go back and read it over. Beans cost 80 cents per pound. There's our rate, 80 cents per pound. How much money would 2 3/4 pounds of beans cost? Notice that in this problem, we know that we want to buy 2 3/4 pounds of beans. What we're trying to find is how much money it takes to buy those beans. And our money here is cents. So we're going to find out how many cents we need to buy 2 3/4 pounds of beans. Now, our rate in this problem is 80 cents per pound. I want to think about that rate without the number attached, just cents per pound. Remember, the cent sign stands for the units in front of the per. I prefer to write out the word cents so that my rate can be written as follows: cents per pound. Now we're going to set up our unit equation here to help us decide how to solve this problem. We know we can take the rate, cents per pound, and multiply by the units represented by the word after the per. So I'll multiply by pounds. Equals, when I take a rate times the units after the per, I end up with a quantity whose units are given by the word in front of the per. That's cents. Cents per pound times pounds equals cents. Now let's look at the values that are involved in our word problem. 80 cents per pound, that's our rate. That goes right here. Times 2 3/4 pounds, that goes next, equals how much money, that means how many cents here. I'll write a box because we don't know how many cents, we're trying to figure that out. So when I fill in the numbers, I can see that I have a multiplication statement where I actually know the two numbers that I'm multiplying together. We're trying to find the answer to the multiplication problem. So let's go ahead and multiply to get our answer in cents. We're going to take 80, which I'm going to write as 80 over 1, times 2 3/4 pounds. To multiply, I need to convert this to an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11, so I have 11 over 4. Now, because I'm multiplying fractions, I want to see if I can do any canceling here. I'll start breaking down my numerators and denominators when possible. 80 I can break down into 8 times 10 over 1 times 11 is prime, so I'll just recopy 11 over 4 is 2 times 2. I don't see any numbers that I can cancel yet, but I think I'm going to be able to cancel if I break down the 8 and the 10 into factors once again. 8 I can break down into 4 times 2 times 10 is going to be 5 times 2 all over 1 times, on the other side of the times sign I have 11 over 2 times 2. And now I see I can cancel a 2 above with a 2 below, another 2 above with a 2 below. I don't have any more numbers left to cancel below, so that's all the canceling that I can do. Let's see what we have left here. In my first fraction, I have 4 times 5. That's 20 over 1 times 11 over 1. In my second fraction, remember when all the numbers cancel either above or below, here it's below, there's always a 1 left behind to hold that place. So what I have to do next is multiply 20 times 11. Let's do that here. 20 times 11, 1 times 0, 1 times 2, 1 times 0, 1 times 2. That's 220. So I have 220 over 1 times 1 is 1. That's a whole number answer. My answer here is 220. What were we looking for? We were looking for how many cents? 220 cents is the cost of my 2 3/4 pounds of beans. Now normally we don't express such large values of cents in this way. 100 cents is $1, 200 cents is $2, so 220 cents is actually the same as saying $2.20. And now that we've figured out our problem, I need to figure out how I'm going to cook all these beans.